Huddle around as we track all the results. We will bring you the extra bases and the great blocks up front. So celebrate and try to stay warm as we field all the best stuff from last week. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. We've got some good stuff to show you this time.
We do. It's a little bit less hectic of a show
than
last week, but everybody's in action and some really fun stuff to talk about.
Yep.
Some other stuff that
not so fun.
You got to start somewhere.
It's early.
You got to start
early.
somewhere. That may be the mantra for some Coon Rapids programs this spring. The baseball team opened its season on Tuesday last week, hosting conference rival Centennial. Cougars ended the Cardinals season at sections last year, but that was a different squad. Cardinals lost almost their entire roster to graduation, so they start with a lot of question marks all over the field. It all starts on the mound, the wise words of Cardinals legend Don Bright, and that's where the Cardinals need to find answers and fast to start this season. Braden Grisey started but left with bases loaded, nobody out in the second inning. Aiden Robidoux only allowed one of those runs to score, but he gets roughed up in the third. Nolan Bolander had that two-run single, and then just 2 pitches later, Matthew Sigler hits it to deep left center. Border scores all the way from first. The RBI double makes it 7-0 Cougars. Cardinals trying to rally in the bottom of the third. Price Karen fires it down the line to left and hooking to the corner. Jeremy Oddie will go first to third, and the Cardinals have a threat, 2 in scoring position with 1 away. Centennial starter Tommy Meyer almost got out of it, but with 2 down, throws a curveball wide of the target. Oddie will easily come home. Unfortunately, it was the only run for the home team. Cougars, meanwhile, continue to capitalize on Cardinal mistakes. This is the 6th hit batter for the Cardinals staff. Came with bases loaded, pushes the lead to 10. Cardinals lose 12-1 in 5 innings.
It was a rough opener, to say the least, for the baseball squad. And again, pitching wasn't there. They couldn't hit the ball. And, you saw what happens when you don't have it from the mound.
12 runs
Yep.
on 8 hits. There were 10 walks.
Yep.
Only 4 or 5 strikeouts and 6 hit batters.
Yeah, I mean,
if you have more hit batters than you have strikeouts, that's not a day you want to really remember. And unfortunately, things didn't get much better on Thursday when they went to Elk River. They lose in 4.5 to the Elks, 16-2, the final there. And again, only a couple of hits. Chell Norquist went 1 for 2, had a double and scored a run for the Cardinals. Grisey was 0 for 1, had the lone RBI for the team, and Colin Faniff only lasted 2/3 of an inning, gave up 7 runs. A lot of their 16, I don't remember how many, but a lot of those 16 were unearned. A lot of unearned runs in both games, which obviously you can't win a lot of baseball games if you're giving up a lot of unearned runs.
Well,
if
you're getting 28 runs scored against you in 2 games, that makes it very difficult.
It certainly does. Well, they're hoping to right the ship this week. They have 3, starting with the makeup game against Totino. That's happening as we sit on the set on Monday. They host Blaine tomorrow, and Howie
will be there.
And then they will host Osseo on Thursday. Softball team also opened its season against Centennial, and their opener went even worse. 20-0, the final against the Cougars on the softball diamond. Some of the girls getting the bat on the ball, getting it in play, getting on base, but not able to get all the way around. Annalie Anderson, I believe, was the one to suffer the loss. She gave up 7 runs and 2 1/3. Erickson came in and gave up 13. And again, you see it, 11 of the 20 runs earned, so 9 unearned runs. They had their makeup game against Totino the very next day. Got around the bases a little bit better, put 7 on the board. Callie Powell had a nice game at the plate, 2 for 4 with a triple, a couple RBIs. Annalie Anderson also had a double and RBI, scored a run. Karen went 2 for 3 with a double, couple of runs scored. Bella Fowler scored a couple of times as well. but they fall 13-7 at the hands of Totino Grace.
Yeah, even though it wasn't a win, it was an improvement from game
Correct.
1 to game 2.
Yes.
The Cardinals were hoping they could keep moving in the right direction when they went up to Elk River on Thursday. The Elks came in at 1-2, and after losing back-to-back games Tuesday and Wednesday, they were hoping to salvage one win out of their 3-game homestand. It was a low-scoring affair until midway through, and then it got wild. Bottom of the first, home team starts scoring with a bomb. Alexa Dacus drives it deep over the fence in left center, no question, as soon as it touched the bat. Her first round trip of the season, and it's 1-0 Elks. Well, that score hold until the top of the fourth. Annalie Anderson with a drive down the line and left. Eddie Fowles and Bella Fowler will score, and Coon Rapids has a lead. Anderson went 2 for 4 with 3 RBI. Move to the top of the fifth, and it's Fowler's turn. She bloops it to no man's land and left. Speed on the base paths. Ava Kellis and Folks will score. Fowler was 3 for 4 in the game. Her 2-run double made it 4-1. Well, the Elks are going to answer in the home half of the fifth. Dacus with another deep drive. This one's off the base of the fence. Dacus was 3 for 5 and drove in 6 runs. These were 2 of them part of a 5-run inning that put Elk River in front 6-4. But don't worry, the momentum swings back the other way in the top of the sixth. Layla Meyer slides it right down the line. Pacey Olson and Hannah Poser score. Cardinals answer with 4 in the sixth, back in front 8-6. Not even close to being done. Top of the seventh, Cardinals down 1. Ava Kellis with a bloop to short left. 2 fielders collide. The ball falls to the turf. Poser turns on the Jets and gets to the plate to tie the game at 10-all. So we're going to extras. Top of the eighth, Anderson coming with a big again. Huge drive to left center. That rolls to the fence. Fowler was on her horse and scores all the way from first. Anderson later scored on a wild pitch, and they were up 12-10. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Ella Franson grounds it deep to the hole, beats it out for an infield single. That's going to score Natalie Zimski. Elks score 3 in the eighth and walk off as winners. Tough loss for the Cards, Joe.
Yeah, but what compete level to get all those runs? But it's I saw the score and went, oh, close game. I looked deeper and went, whoa.
Yeah.
It was a 1-0 game until the fourth inning. Then to find out that Neil Hennon looked at the schedule and went, oh, that's, he lives up a little northeast. And I said, I'll run over there, grab the highlights. It was probably the longest games that they will play all season long, but very exciting. Unfortunately, the Cardinals do come up just short and fall to 0-3. They have Blaine here tomorrow and Osseo here on Wednesday. And Howie,
we'll be there.
All right.
Yes.
Tennis team normally has a crazy schedule to start the season. They are usually the busiest team right out of the gates. Hasn't been so far that way this season. Just won this past week, but they'll make up for it this week. Last week, their one was a tough one. Number 5 ranked Elk River. They traveled north to face the Elks, and they lost 7-0. Cooper Held apparently played very well to earn the 1-6 loss. You can see those are the only games that the Cardinals won. The other 2 that aren't listed, which is second singles and second doubles, were both 0-6 losses. So a pretty powerful team in Elk River. So the Cardinals will host Blaine on Tuesday. They're at Champlin on Wednesday, host Andover on Thursday, and then host a round-robin tournament on Saturday. All, of course, weather permitting.
Yeah, busy week for them, though, for sure.
Volleyball team into week number 2 as a varsity sport, and they suffered their first loss of the season. This to the border battle against the Blaine Bengals. Cardinals won the first set, 26-24, but the Bengals stormed back, winning the next 3, 16, 17, and 20. Griffin Garbo, a little nicked up early, did not finish as strongly and did not play the entire match. So that was a bit of a concern, and definitely that is something that he has an effect if he is not on the floor. He has an effect on the floor, but definitely the team notices when he is not out there. You see the guys picking up the slack as best they could. Mo Ullman had 6 kills. Joshua Hyatt had 5. Lucas Yang, 28 assists, and Julian Vang had a team high 11 digs. Well, the Cardinals were hoping they could bounce back when they returned home on Wednesday, but Anoka would be another massive challenge. Tornadoes came in with a 6-1 record. Their only loss was in a tournament play against Maple Grove, and they responded by sweeping the Crimson 2 days later. Cardinals were clearly going to need their A game if they hoped to weather the storm. Tight battle in the first set. Cardinals led most of the way, but never by more than 4 points. And it's Anoka with set point here. The Tornadoes set up Mark Mazdaguda. Hammers home the winner. Anoka takes the first set 25-23. Cardinals hit a bigger hole in the second, and it's Mazdaguda doing most of the digging. He had a team-high 15 kills. That one helped Anoka take a 2-0 advantage with a 25-17 win in the second. Cardinals weren't going down without a fight, and their big gun had another big night. Griffin Garbo with one of his kills. He had a game-high 26. Defense coming up big in the third for the Cardinals as well. Ryan Mo-Ullman perfectly timed jump in perfect position. He denies Mazdaguda. Cardinals lead 20-17 at that point. Still late in the third, another big defensive play for this point. This time it's Garbo with the stuff. Cardinals had 9 blocks as a team. They stay alive with a 25-20 win in the third. Cardinals in another nail-biter in the fourth, down 3 late. Another block. This time it's Lengzing Yang with the denial, and that keeps the Cardinals' hopes alive, at least momentarily. Match point for Anoka, and they go to their right side. Nathan Lindberg. Strong cross-court finish. Tornadoes storm away with a win in 4 sets, 25-22, the final in the fourth.
You know, they knew coming in it was going to be difficult, and I think they were disappointed against that loss against Blaine previously. But Anoka's pretty good. But they did stay with them, I thought. You know, even though they lost in 4, they stayed with them in each set.
Absolutely, and just a huge benefit to see that Griffin was back and playing up to his normal level. And, you know, they just, unfortunately, they came up short. But, you know, it would have been easy. We've seen this. We've talked about it for years. We've seen teams that get into big holes, regardless of the sport, and they just pack their bags and they smile.
Not from these guys.
Smile on their way to the locker room with a lopsided loss on their home floor. This team definitely did not do that.
Did not.
They are at Spring Lake Park tonight, Monday night, and they are at Park Center on Wednesday. Oh, they did actually have 4 matches over the weekend up in St. Cloud Tech tournament. I don't know the exact results. I do know they beat St. Cloud Tech and New Prague. They lost to Minneapolis Southside and Roosevelt. I don't know how many schools that includes.
It's got to be at least 3.
So if that's South, Washburn, Roosevelt, I don't Southwest. I don't know how many of the teams are included. But based on the note I got, they also lost to Prior Lake. So they went 2-2 and are now 4-4 on the season. They will be again at Spring Lake Park tonight, Monday night, and at Park Center on Wednesday.
All the best to them. Well, the track teams are off and running, and the results so far are beyond encouraging. Last week, the Cardinals were at Andover for a quad meet on Thursday. In addition to the Huskies, they were battling conference rival Anoka and a strong 2A team from Grand Rapids. The girls held their own while the boys were downright dominant. First highlight from the girls, the 100-meter dash, a great race for the Cardinals across the board. But check out the finish for Amari Royal in the middle. She finishes second, falling short just 1/1000th of a second. Yikes. Relays are the strength for both Cardinals team. The girls took second in the 4x1. They do it again here in the 4x2. Vittoria Kamara got it started. Solange Barkin hands to Malia Galima. And at the midway point, it's Erin Yang Nguyen is coasting to the finish line all alone. They take second at a time of 1:54.24. Sophomore Ruby Demmer went to state for cross country in the fall. She's hoping for a return trip this spring. It's surprised to see her winning the 1600 easily. Not a surprise, coasting in the line in a time of 5:31.72. Dominance for boys team starts from the starting gun in the 100-meter. Lance Hill running away from everybody, getting the win in a time of 11.34 seconds. Cardinals finished 3rd and 5th as well. Relays are key for the Cards. They pull the super flex at Andover. Cardinals go 1-2 in the 4x2. Top group starts with Makai Martin, Joseph Hauge, and Lance Hill handle the middle. And Cyril Lafaka runs to the tape alone in a 1:31.69. Just team 2 just 3 seconds back. How about some more sprinting excellence? This time in the 400-meter dash, Makai Martin grabs another blue ribbon with Tyler Vossen taking second. Martin's winning time, 51.14 seconds. Damian Aluka hasn't matched his opening day of 6'6", but he hasn't had to. Soaring up to over 6 feet flat was enough to take first in the high jump. Bo Aduga finished second. Cardinals crushed the competition, taking first place in convincing fashion. They're solid. They are really solid this year.
A lot of 1 and 2 finishes across the board for the boys team. There's some of the others. Hayden Skilling's first place in the discus, threw at 137.7. Davian Aluka also first place in the long jump. Bo Aduga also first place in the triple jump. So the jumpers and the throwers doing some damage. Marco Velasquez was second place in the 3,200 meter run. Carnell Robinson second place in the 300-meter hurdles. Jacoby Peterson second place in the shot put. And there you see 4x4 and 4x8 were both in second place. On the girls' side, Uday was first place in the 200-meter dash with Amari Royal right behind her in second. Ruby Demmer was also second place in the half mile or 800-meter run. Bethany Law was third in that same race. 4x100-meter team finished in second. Shania Horton was third place in the high jump. Callie Barker was third in pole vault. And Galama was third in the long jump with a distance of 14 feet and 5 inches. So
they have some really solid athletes as well, the girls.
They do. Their numbers not quite as deep, but the boys just across the board. I don't know. I did not do a count, but they had a number of events where they were 1 and 2. Like you mentioned, in the 100, they were 1-3-5.
Yep.
They were all over the leaderboard, and they have depth and skill in every part. Running, jumping, throwing. It's going to be fun to see. Can they get it together and all peak at the same time at True Team? Because remember, True Team happens just about mid-season,
right.
So you're not at the end. Everybody trains for the end of the season. You want to be at your fastest, throwing your furthest, jumping your highest or your longest at the end of the season when sections comes. But in order to get to state as a team, you have to have everybody doing it together.
Right.
By mid-season. So I think they may have it. I know that Russ, when we did the preview, he said we really want to get all 4 relays to state, which in and of itself would be super cool. This team, just based on what I've seen, and granted, I'm very much a track novice and incredibly biased for Cardinal athletics. But this team really does have an opportunity, I think, to reach it as a team and also put a high number of individuals in the state tournament as individual events as well.
Well, one of the things that there's no lack of confidence from either one of these squads, and I say that in the best respect that I think they know they can do it. They know that they're strong. They know they're athletic, but they don't let it get to their heads. They know they're just going to have to continue to compete and do their best each and every time they take the track. But I think there's so much confidence in this team that I think there's a lot of good things in store for both the boys and the girls track.
Well,
team.
they are at Armstrong for a tri-meet on Tuesday, and then they will be at Osseo for an invitational on Thursday. Speaking of invitationals, one of the largest golf tournaments in the state of Minnesota is right here in Coon Rapids for the Bunker Hills Invitational. The Cardinals kick it off by hosting a 30-team tournament each and every year. Boys doing pretty well, finishing 23rd out of 30. Now, you see there's 3 numbers. They played 27 holes of golf. They get to take their best 18. Right. Top 2 Cardinals finishing with 75, so 3 over par. To start your season, that's a pretty high bar to set.
Say.
Now, granted, there were some teams, I think the leaders finished at like 64, which like 8 under par that's almost inhuman.
Crazy.
Especially for a high school player in the very first tournament of the year. But that's, you do get the benefit again of playing 27 and taking the 2 best 9-hole rounds. But nonetheless, pretty excited to see those numbers where they are. A team score of 319. Again, you get to do a little bit of a cheat because you played 3 9-hole rounds and you're only counting 2 of them. So, some of your mistakes are hidden in those numbers. but it does set a bar kind of high, and we'll see what the Cardinals are able to do next time out, because now the next handful of times out they're doing Northwest Suburban Conference tournaments, and they matter a little bit more. They start the Northwest Suburban Conference season at North Fork, the Lynx at North Fork on Thursday this week, and then they're at Baker National next Monday. So things off and running there as well. Girls also started their season with a tournament on Thursday. They were over at Shamrock for the 11th annual Osseo Invite. Cardinals finished 7th place out of 10 teams, all 3 teams behind them from the Northwest Suburban Conference.
Nice.
So 3 teams that they should have because the girls, of course, play head-to-head against their conference rivals. So that's 3 teams that in those head-to-head matches they're going to have a little more confidence going into, and that's exciting. Anderson, just a freshman, led the way with an 88. Lily McKenzie just a couple of strokes behind her with a 91. Price finished with a 103, Semensky a 109, Davis 117, and Severson in with a 119 to start the season. Their bar not quite as high as the boys.
Correct.
But as we talked about at the beginning, you got to start somewhere.
You do, and golf is such a crazy game. It's obviously so mental that you have to sometimes you have to forget around just to move to the next one.
And it's, the high school spring season is only 6 to 8 weeks. You're not going to make a dramatic amount of improvement in that short period of time, but you can come to understand things and learn how to mentally overcome making those mistakes before they happen.
Yeah, and when I hit that windmill, I just have to put it in the back of my mind, saying the next shot I'm going to get it right through the middle.
Right through there. I'm getting past the clown too. They start their head-to-head season this week with back-to-back matches at Blaine, that's over at Majestic Oaks on Wednesday, and then at Champlain Park, which is down at Edinburgh on Thursday. That's a couple of really nice courses, a lot of nice courses that they get to play as part of their high school season. Lacrosse teams started their seasons last week. Boys started against Simley, and they start with a win, 13-5. The final in that one, Toby Tranby put up 7 goals, talking about setting the bar high for the rest of the season. Brody Herzog had 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists. Conkler, Brown, and Person, the other goal scorers for the SLPCR squad. They're hosting Andover over at Spring Lake Park on Monday this week. They will be at the Coon Rapids Sports Complex on Wednesday hosting Anoka, one of just 2 matches at the Coon Rapids field this season for the boys. Girls team, as we talked about last week, will be playing as Spring Lake Park this year. No team for Coon Rapids, but we will adopt the Panthers as our own here on Sportsnight, knowing that that's where our Coon Rapids athletes are playing. And a tough one, but a well-fought battle in the first match of the season. They come up short against Totino Grace by a 9-8 score. Edwards leads the way with 4 goals and an assist. And there are your other goal scorers, but I don't know. I've got to imagine it feels better to be in a game, but it's almost more heartbreaking to lose by 1.
Always.
But they know they're right there, and their non-conference schedule is a little bit softer. They are at Irondale tonight, Monday night, and will be at Centennial on Wednesday. Cougars always a very tough program.
Always.
So where are we this week? We're playing baseball on Tuesday, seeing the Cardinals take on the Blaine Bengals. We're over on the softball diamond on Wednesday afternoon as Coon Rapids takes on Osseo. We'll see the baseball team again on Tuesday next week. That's up at Castle Field in Anoka. That's going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.